So coming to the case study, so Mr. Anthony, a prosperous NRI, had the idea to develop a website devoted to fashion with a focus on high-end apparel and accessories. He has collaborated on the application with Mr. Bhaskar, Mr. Kathy, and Mr. Dominic. So the website should be easy to navigate, have a contemporary look, and process payments quickly. Upon looking at the papers, Mr. Anthony has understood that Miss Kathy already had a similar application, and as the sales are drastically declining, Mr. Anthony had taken on the duty of improving the application. The timeline of the project is 18 months with 1 crore as a budget. So right now they are facing, what are the problems they are facing means lack of knowledge of the fashion of the customers, lack of customer reach. So looking at the current problems, Mr. Anthony had pulled a team on board. So here you can see the names and companies of that people. So coming to the first question, so here according to the case study, here create 5 quarterly audits for this project. Okay, so in general, audits means to know the work progress of the project. Okay, so whether it is going as expected or not. Okay, so these are just a second. So these audits are useful for us whether is the project is going on track or not. Okay. So each audit have separate checklist. Okay. So in that audit, what we need to mention is the very first thing that we need to mention is about the stage. Okay. At what stage this audit is created for what stage. Okay. After that, how much time it took to complete that particular stage. Okay. And after that, we are having some checklists as well. Okay. So here you can see for first audit, quarter 1 audit report requirement phase. Okay, requirement gathering phase. So in the requirement gathering phase took almost 10 weeks. Okay. So coming to the checklist, so here what he need to check is BRD template clear done or not. Elicitation, he will be using some elicitation techniques, right, to gather the requirements. So, uh, what kind of elicitation techniques he has used and all those reports. Okay, duplicate requirement report, grouping of functionalities, features, client sign off. So, email communication. Okay, like this, you need to write for the first quarter. And coming to the second quarter, here we'll be having requirement analysis. Okay, so here you can see requirement analysis has a completed within 7 weeks. Okay, so here what he had to check is whether the UML diagrams are ready or not. Okay, so what are the functional requirements? So client sign of documents to go to the next process, to go to the designing process. So do we get the client sign off? So RTM document version control. So in requirement analysis base, here is the first thing that we're creating the RTM, which is requirement traceability matrix. Okay, and it is created by the BA in requirement analysis stage. Okay, so likewise, you will be having the third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so likewise, you will be having the third, fourth, and fifth, and here also you need to write 5 quarterly audits according to your project like this. Okay, so for each audit, what you need to do is you need to write about the stage. After that, you need to write what how many stages it took to complete. Sorry, how much time it took to complete, and checklist of that particular stages. Okay. After that, the second question is about Bay approach strategy. Okay, so. Coming to the Bay approach strategy, here what you need to write is you need to write what is your strategy to uh, complete your project. Okay, starting gathering the requirements till client sign off for the project. So, what is your strategy to run the project? So, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to find out what illustration techniques you need to apply in order to gather the requirements. Okay, so we are having some 11 of illustration techniques, right? So not all 11 we'll be using every time. So basing on the client's requirement or basing on the time, and we will be finalizing some. some sort of requirements. Okay, and we will be using them to gather the requirements from the client. And after the completion of registration techniques, so we'll be doing some stakeholder analysis. Okay, so by using stakeholder analysis, we can identify what stakeholder is for what role. Okay, so to define roles and responsibility of roles and responsibilities of a particular stakeholder, we will be using this RACI matrix, which is RACI matrix. Okay, and we will be assigning the roles and we will be creating the stakeholder analysis chart, RACI chart. And after that, we will be having what documents to write. Okay, so what documents to write means we'll be writing BRD, business requirement document, FRD, functional requirement document, use case documentation, test case documents, and extra, etc. So, what process to follow? After that, what process to follow? Sign off on the documents. So, sign off to be taken on SRS, which is software requirement specification, as this is the primary and important document. Sign up should be taken by using email confirmation from the client. So software requirement specification means what kind of softwares that we need to use for that project. We'll be writing all those software requirements in a separate document. Okay. So after that, we need to get a sign off from the client whether is this whatever the requirements that you have written in the document, those are good or not. Okay, so if good, then he will be putting some sign and we can move forward. But if not, then he will be adding some requirements. There are some extra add-ons on that document, so he will be adding that again and he will be getting the sign off. Okay, and next one is how to take approvals from the client. So establish a formal meeting with the clients to keep them informed and get continuous feedback. Okay, so approvals from the client means mostly you will be keeping meetings or you will be meeting them and you will be sharing your work progress and you will be giving the feedback at what stage we are having, what kind of challenges we are facing right now. So you will be telling all those things to the client and if the progress is good, then he will be, if you need any approval, if the process is good, then he will be giving approval to the next stage and we can go move on. Okay. And coming to the communication channels. So regular meetings, weekly status meetings, and bi-weekly sprint reviews and monthly stakeholder updates. So these kind of communication channels we are having. So regular meetings means in regular meetings, we'll be knowing about what we need to do today and what we have done yesterday and any challenges from the yesterday's work. So these three things we mainly talk about in these regular meetings. Okay. And coming to these weekly meetings as well, we will be talking mostly how the week went. Okay. And coming to the next one, how to handle change request. Okay. So how to handle change request means when you got a change request in middle of your work. So what you will be doing is first of all you will be writing down it in a change request form. Okay. After that you will be doing some impact analysis like how much cost it will take and how much time it will take, or else is it that much important to include right now, or else we can do it later. Okay, so basing on all these things, you will be doing the impact analysis. After that, after you have done your impact analysis and all, after that you will be getting the approval process. Okay, so after that you will be making a documentation on the change request. Okay, and next strategy is how to update the progress of the project to the stakeholders. Okay, we need to update the progress, right, of progress of the project to the stakeholders. So for that purpose, we'll be having weekly status meetings and weekly status reports and monthly review meetings. Okay, and how to take sign off on the UAT, so client project acceptance form. So UAT preparation, conduct UAT, fix issues, acceptance form, final review meeting. So UAT means final review meeting mostly. Okay, so this is all about the second question. So here, what kind of strategies that you need to for what you need to use these strategies means for illustration techniques to write RSA charts to write documents. What kind of documents you need to write? So to uh, follow the sign off on the documents. how to take approval. So, what kind of communication channels we will be using in order to make in order to in order to know the client where our project is. So, how to handle the change request and how to update the progress and how to take the sign off on the UAT. So, these are some of the strategies we are having. And coming to the third question, it is all about the three-tier architecture. Explain and illustrate three-tier architecture. So three-tier architecture means it is a software technique where it divides the entire software architecture into three tiers. So the first one is about client type, second one is business logic tier, and the third one is database type. So client tier means it is mostly interface. Okay, whatever when you have opened an application, whatever you are seeing, so that is the interface. Sorry. So that is the interface, right? So client tier is the interface, the very first layer. So the second layer is business logic layer, where in this layer you will be having the main core workings. Like for example, if we take any application, we will be building it with Java, right? So like that business logic layer means the entire workflow and system workflow will be done in this business logic layer. Okay. And coming to the database layer, so in database layer, mostly we will be having some database servers in order to save the data, like what kind of people are joining there, opening the application, their details, their personal details, like phone number, email ID, and product IDs and payment IDs. Like this, all these all kind of details will be stored in the database tab with the help of database servers. Okay. So coming to the fourth question, write about the approach strategy for framing questions. So previously you have seen approach strategy, how to complete your project. As of now, you need to for this fourth question, what you need to do is you need to take a strategy for framing questions. Why you need to framing questions means so let's say you got a client. Okay, so you have got a client and you need to gather the requirements. Okay, so but he told you to complete the requirement, whatever the requirement thing you are having. So you need to complete within 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so the time is very low, so 15 to 20 minutes. So in that situation, you can't ask any random question to the client. So what you need to do is you need to have a structured form of questions. Okay, so for that, you need in order to make the structure questions, you need these kind of strategies to frame the questions. Okay, so the first one is about 5W1H, where five W's 1H means who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, by using these five W's and 1H, you will be creating the questions. Okay, and you will be asking them to the client. So for by using these 5W1H technique, so the rest of the things are like they will be skipped. Okay, so only the main questions what we need to ask to the client that only will be filtered. Okay, so the second one is smart technique, where in the smart technique we'll be having specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So basing on these five, we will be creating the questions. Okay, and coming to the RACI chart. The RACI chart is used to clarify the roles and responsibilities. Okay, so which stakeholder is on which role? Okay, so who is responsible, who is accountable, who is consulted, and who is informed. So consulted means mostly will be having the subject matter experts. Okay, so like this, we will be knowing who is responsible like that. So if there are any mistakes in that particular stage, who we need to contact. Okay, we'll be knowing all those things. And after that, we'll be having UML, which is Unified Modeling Language. So it is a standardized way of diagramming and modeling software. Okay, so what it will do means we will be transforming the raw data which we have gathered from the client. So what we have gathered from the client it will be in the textual format, right? We will be writing down all those requirements or listening all those requirements. So in order to um, make those requirements understandable to the developers, what we will be doing is we will be changing the textual data into a diagrammatic form. By changing the textual data into a diagrammatical form, developers can understand easily what's going on and what is the flow of the system or how users are interacting to the system. So basing on this, they will be developing the code and all. Okay. So this is fourth question. So approach strategy for framing questions. Okay. So after that, the fifth and sixth question is about elicitation techniques. Coming to the fifth question, you need to write about the various elicitation techniques you have learned in the workshop. Okay. So you just need to write about illustration techniques, what you have used on the project. Okay. Not all the illustration techniques. And coming to the sixth question, here what you need to do is you need to write about illustration techniques which you have used in this project. Sorry. So for this question five, you need to write about various illustration techniques, what you know. Okay. For this sixth question, you need to write illustration techniques. So what you have used in this project. Okay. And you need to justify why you have used that particular illustration techniques. Okay. So here we are having 11 illustration techniques. For fifth question, you need to write all the illustration techniques. For sixth question, you need to write what illustration techniques you have used and why you have used those illustration techniques. And while explaining this question also, you need to explain like this only. What illustration techniques you have used and why you have used that. And coming to the seventh question, it is all about write 10 business requirements. So what do you mean by business requirements means business requirements are the specific needs or conditions that a business must meet to achieve its objectives. Okay, so here we're having some examples for business requirements, how the business requirements will be. So here is the ID for the first business requirement, and here you will be having user should be able to search products in the app. Okay, so this is the first and foremost business requirement we are having. And in order to build our app, so this is our goal to build that particular app. Okay, so user should be, second one is user should be able to browse through the product catalog. So like this, you need to write the business requirements according to your project. Okay, so in this project is all about fashion and fast fashion products, right? So according to that project, we need to write the business requirements. So whatever the case study you have given, so according to your case study, you need to write these business requirements. Okay. So the eighth question is about write four assumptions based on the project. So assumptions means what do you think? So you will be having an idea. Like here you will be having some examples. So the first ex assumption is a user can log in using Facebook or Google account. Okay, so this is the first assumption. Second one is a, a user has knowledge on fashion. So not all the users will be having the knowledge on fashion, right? But you assume like that. So assumption three, online shopping trend is increasing. The customer prefer online shopping. Okay, so this is your third assumption. And coming to the fourth, the designer have designs to display in the application. The need for application is ever growing. So assumption five, the customer have online accounts for secured payment process. So not all the people are having online accounts, right? Some of them are, if all the people are having online accounts, some of them will be using uh, offline payment also for purposely, right? So coming to the ninth question, project requirements priority. So project requirements priority means whatever the requirements that you are writing. Okay, so whatever the business requirements that you are writing in the document, so you need to write the description about that requirement, and after that you need to give the priority. Why you need to give the priority means you need to know what needs to be built first. Okay, so you will be having some hundreds of requirements, but you don't when you don't know what needs to build first or what is the important feature that we need to build first or but that we need to focus on. So if you don't know that feature, then it will be a clumsy, right? So for that purpose, we will be giving these priority numbers. So basing on these priority numbers, we will be building the features wisely, one by one. Okay. So here, according to your project, you need to write your requirements. So here you'll be having the requirement ID. This is the template. Okay. So this is the template, and in the template. The very first one that you need to mention is the requirement ID. After that, requirement name. After that, requirement description. After that, priorities, and you need to give the priority number. So how you will be giving the priority number is by using Moscow techniques. Okay, so mostly we'll be giving those priority numbers using Moscow techniques only. And if you are in a agile project, then you will be using the those BV and CP by to give the priorities. Okay, so mostly we'll be using Moscow technique only. Okay, must have, should have, could have, won't have. Okay, so coming to the 10th question, it is all about use case diagram. So you all know that use case diagram means it just shows the interaction between the user and the system. Okay, it shows how user is interacting, which type of user is interacting to the system, and why he is interacting with the system. Okay, so here also we're having some components like actors, use cases, system boundary, and relationship. So coming to the first thing, actors. In actors also we're having two types of actors. One is primary actor, another one is secondary actor. So coming to the what do you mean by primary actor means? So he will be initiating the process. Okay, he will be starting the interaction with the application first. And what is the use of secondary actor means? He will support the action of the primary actor. Okay, whatever the action that primary actor do, so secondary actor will support that action. So let's take a payment as an example. So here you will be having a use case called payment. Okay, so and you are having some supporting use cases also like UPI or net banking or wallet. So user has clicked on payment after he had done checking with this with his products in the add to cart. So then he clicked on payment button, and he has chosen UPI. In that UPI, he has chosen phone pay. So when this primary actor or user clicked on phone pay, okay, what the next thing that system will be doing is it will be redirecting you to the phone pay app. Okay, you are not in that online application app, not anymore for this payment. So it will be redirecting you to the phone pay app. So who will be redirecting you to the phone pay app means payment gateway. Payment gateway is the second reactor because it is supporting your action. So you have selected phone pay. So since you have selected phone pay, then it is supporting your action in terms of taking you to the phone pay app. Okay. So this is the use of primary actor and secondary actor, and we'll be having the types in use cases also, which is essential use case and supporting use case. Okay. So essential use case means for an let's take an example like if you are having a registration as a use case, you need to write the registration page as an essential use case. And in registration, what we will be doing is we will generally will be filling all the details, right? Like email ID, phone number, and password. So these without these details, you can't register an account. Okay. So without a registration page, you can't fill these details. So here registration page is the layout, and the details are like supporting use case to run that layout. Okay. So like this, these are the types, and we are having another one also, which is system boundary. So here in the PPT, you can see the system boundary is dividing the system doing things and sorry, system things and actors. So it is separating the actors and the system. And the next one is the relationships. Okay. So in relationships, we are having include, extend, generalization. Okay, so these are the three we are having. So coming to the include means, so if you have any mandatory thing to show, then you will be using include. Or if you are having any optional things, then you will be using extend. And coming to the generalization, if you want to show like you don't know what is the user is choosing at that time, okay, but he needs to go to the next stage, that is for sure. So if you are having these kind of mandatory and optional things, mix of mandatory and optional things, then you can go for generalization. Okay. So the next one is about prepare five use case specification documents. So Use case specification documents means it shows the detailed information of the particular use case. Okay, so what use case is, why you are writing that use case, who are the actors involved for that to interact with the use case, and what is the flow of that use case, and what is the alternate flow, and what are the expectations. Like this, you need to write. Okay, so here you are having the layout of how to write the, sorry, template on how to write the use case specification. Okay, so here the very first one you will be having is use case ID. You need to write the use case ID. After that, you will be having the use case name. So here it is like book an appointment, book an appointment with fashion designer. Okay, so this is the use case name. So created by last updated by uh, date created, last revision date. So after filling all these details, coming to the actors. So customer and designer will be interacting with this use case. How mean? So customer will be booking an appointment for fashion designer with the fashion designer, and designer will be giving his reply. Like he will be interacting with the customer later. Later on, he will be interacting with the customer based on the fashion. Okay. So the description is this use case describes how user can book an appointment in app. Okay. So this is the main description. So what is the use of this use case name book an appointment with the fashion designer means? So user can book an appointment for the designer in the application itself. Okay. So what is the precondition? So in order to book an appointment, there is one condition before. What is that precondition means? User should have been registered into the application. Okay. Without having a registered account, he can't book an appointment. Okay, so coming to the post condition, what is the post condition means? Successfully received confirmation message of the appointment. Okay, so this is the post condition. So by seeing all these conditions or use case description, so basing on this, developers will be developing the application. Okay, so here also we'll be having normal flow. Okay, normal flow means step one system defaults an appointment as book an appointment. So the step two is the user login, clicks on the appointment. System navigates to new page where the user enters some information. The user should enter information like occasion, size, color, brand, and price, etc. So in general, what normal flow is when you have opened an application to book an appointment for the fashion designer. So in general, the very first one is login page, right? After filling your details, so it will be having a dashboard. Once you have done login, so it will be having a dashboard. Okay, where we are having some other options also. But as of now, what we need to do is we will be here to book an appointment, right? So we'll be clicking on the appointment button, and after you have done clicking on the appointment button, then the new page will be popping up. So in that new page, what we need to do is we need to fill some details, and in order to know why we are booking an appointment to with the fashion designer. Okay, so here all those are steps. Okay, so here we need to write each one as each step. Okay, in the normal flow. So coming to the alternate flow. So if the user is not able to log in, then the system will redirect to the forgot username or password page. Okay. And in step three, if the user is not able to get the right information, he can request a call from customer care. Okay. Normal flow means if you are in a login page, normal flow means what happens? You need to fill the details, and if the details are correct, then you will be logging in. Okay, so this is just a normal flow. Alternate flow means if you have type in your password a mistake, so you have type in your password as a mistake. So what alternate flow will look like means it will be redirecting you to the forgot password page, or you can down here you can click like login with OTP. So these are the alternate flows. Forget password, login with OTP. These are the alternate flows. So first of all, you need normal flow is you will be filling your details and you will be logging in. Okay, alternate flow means if you have forgotten your password, then you can click on forgot password and you can change your password, and that's how you can log in. Or you can click on login with OTP button. Okay, login with OTP means you will be just giving your number and you will be getting the OTP and you will be logging in. So these are the forgot password and login with OTP are alternate flows. Okay, in rare cases we will be using them. Okay, so like this for each and every use case, you need to write like this only. Okay, you need to find out what are the normal flows, you need to find out what are alternative flows, and you need to find out expectations and frequency of use and assumptions also. Okay, so coming to the expectations. So if internet connectivity lost while doing this use case, system displays check with your internet connectivity. So this is another exception. So that means if the user is facing any network issue, then system has to show this message. Check with your internet connectivity. Okay. So frequency of use. You need to write how much user will be using this kind of page. This page, how much frequently user will be using. So login page, each and everyone will be using every time, right? So coming to the assumptions, it is assumed that customer is registered and it is assumed that a customer has the computer knowledge. So this is our assumptions. Okay, so like this, you need to write the use case specification document. And coming to the second 12th question, it is all about activity diagrams. So activity diagram means it shows the system flow. Okay, so it shows how system is flowing and to complete an particular action. Okay, so it shows only the system flow. So here also we are having some components like start node, end node, action state, branch and merge, fork and join, decision box, control flow. Okay, so these are the some of the components that we are having in the activity diagram. So here you can see how this activity diagram is. So here this example is all about the payment process. Okay, so payment processing is initiated. After that, by using branch and merge, we will be dividing two. One is for a debit card, one is for UPI. So the main use of this branch and merge is that only. So when system is showing any options, okay, when system is showing any options, if you want to keep that options in the activity diagram means, then you can go with branch and merge. Okay, so this is branch where it will be splitting the flow into two, and this is merge. Okay, so via debit card and via UPI. So there are two options. And after that, payment mode activated. And after that, payment is done. Okay, filling all the details. If the all details are correct, then the payment is accepted and payment will be done. Okay, if not, it will be redirecting to the details page again. Okay, so this is decision box. So because you are having two conditions, so this is decision box and this is branch and merge. Okay, so I think you already know a brief about an activity diagram, how the activity diagram is and how the use case diagram is. So when you are in prep one part two, when you are working on prep one part two, so please try to draw these use case diagrams and activity diagrams. Okay. So when you are drawing these use case diagrams and activity diagrams, if you have any kind of doubt, then directly refer YouTube video. Okay, in COEPD YouTube channel, we will be having these videos for use case diagram, and in the activity diagram, we'll be having videos and refer to that video, and you can draw the use case and activity diagrams. Okay. So these are all the questions that we are having, team. So if you are having any kind of doubt, please let me know.